Come to track in the week. On Monday, Speaker of House of Representatives Honorable Abbas Tajuddin emphasized the need for Nigeria to embark on decisive agricultural reforms anchored in substantial investment in research and development to guarantee food security and economic sustainability. Speaking through the Deputy Majority Whip Honorable Isiaka Ibrahim at a public hearing on 11 agricultural sector bills, the Speaker said the proposed legislation reflects a collective ambition to modernize the nation's agricultural framework through legal instruments and innovative policies. He maintained that when passed, the bills will strengthen research centers, enhance farmer engagement, improve livelihood, and boost rural development outcomes. He also called for a shift from archaic practices to innovation-driven, inclusive agricultural growth. In his remarks, Chairman of the House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions, Honorable Isiaka Akinlade, traced Nigeria's decline in agriculture to the oil boom of the 1970s. Also on Monday, Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja dismissed a 50 billion naira fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by former Deputy Governor of Edo State Philip Shaibu against the immediate past Governor of the state Godwin Obaseki and four others. Justice Lifu, in a ruling, dismissed the suit following the former Deputy Governor's application for its withdrawal. When the matter was called counsel to Philip Shaibu, Anita Ote informed the court that parties in the suit had settled their differences, hence the application for withdrawal. However, Aliyu Abdulkadri, who appeared for Attorney General of the Federation, the fourth defendant to the suit, told the court that he was not aware of the settlement. Ote disagreed with the request by the fourth defendant and urged the court to grant the application for withdrawal. In his ruling, Justice Lifu held that dismissed the suit in view of the fact that issues have been joined in the matter. On Tuesday, a protest organized by the Trade Union Congress of unpaid allowances compelled the federal government to pledge payment of the overdue allowances within the next 48 hours. The protest was over unpaid allowances and other outstanding entitlements owed to workers, some dating back to January 2025. The workers, dressed in red attire, blocked the main gate of the ministry, effectively shutting down operations and disrupting traffic flow. Attempts by ministry officials to open dialogue were rebuffed, and the protest continued throughout the morning, causing significant disruption. In response to the protest, the federal government gave a firm assurance that all outstanding payments, including allowances and wage award, would be settled within the next 48 hours. Also on Tuesday, the House of Representatives passed for second reading a bill for NAC to authorize the issuance from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 1,783,823,780,392 naira. Of this amount, the sum of 150,353,906,168 naira is allocated for personnel cost, while 343,779,677,484 naira was earmarked for overhead cost. The bill was formally read on the floor of the House by the House Leader, Honorable Julius Nyobere. On Wednesday, worried by the renewed attacks by Boko Haram fighters in communities in the northeast, the Senate called on the federal government to establish a military base in local government area of Adamawa State. The Senate in plenary also called on the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to all those affected by the recurring attacks of the insurgents. These resolutions were reached after a debate on a motion sponsored by Senator representing Adamawa Central, Hamilton Abbas, and his colleagues from the northeast. In his lead debate, Senator Abbas decried renewed attacks on communities in Adamawa State, saying the insurgents in the last few weeks have been on a killing spree, making the localities inhabitable. Still on Wednesday, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB announced plans to conduct a special mop-up examination for candidates who missed the recently concluded 2025 UTME. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede disclosed this in Abuja during a meeting with key stakeholders to address challenges encountered during the exercise. He explained that the mop-up would accommodate the estimated 5.6% of candidates who missed their exams for any reasons. Oloyede stated that the exercise is not extraordinary, but a standard practice in education to make up for mixed examinations, provided it is not abused. On Thursday, President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the newly appointed board and executive team of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NPCL). The president inaugurated the team shortly before attending the All Progressive Congress Stakeholder Summit, which held at the banquet hall at the presidential villa. Tinubu appointed the management team 7 weeks ago, marking the end of the tenure of Mele Kyari as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the oil firm. The board members are Adedapo Segun Bello Rabiu Northwest, Yusuf Usman Northeast, and Babs Omotowa, a former managing director of the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG), who represents North Central, Austin Avoru, non-executive director from South South, David Dike as non-executive director from Southwest, and Henry Obe as non-executive director from the Southeast. Still on Thursday, President Tinubu formally sought the approval of the Nigerian Senate for the 2025 Appropriation Bill of Rivers State, currently under emergency rule. The bill proposed a total budget of 1.481 trillion naira in the move to ensure continuity in governance and development in Rivers State. President Tinubu transmitted the 2025 Appropriation Bill of the House to the Senate for consideration and approval. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the request followed the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State back in March 2025, which transferred budgetary oversight of the state from its dissolved assembly to the National Assembly. On Friday, the federal government of Nigeria recovered the sum of $200 million and another $10 million award it deposited as bond in a UK court towards the defense of the $11 billion arbitral award to Process and Industrial Development (P&ID) Limited. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, disclosed this during a visit by a team of lawyers who defended the country in the UK to the ministry led by Sheista Akar. The submission was coming years after a court in London quashed the $11 billion award against Nigeria in the controversial Process and Industrial Development case bordering on a purported gas processing plant agreement with the Nigerian government in 2010. Lastly, on Friday, the federal government reiterated its commitment to improving mining operations by transforming the lives of local miners and ensuring safer mining practices across the country. Executive Secretary of the Solid Mineral Development Fund (SMDF), Adia Fatima Shinkafi, stated this at the opening of a strategic sensitization program for artisanal and small-scale miners in Kaduna. She said the Solid Mineral Development Fund is an agency under the Federal Ministry of Solid Mineral Development that is empowered by law to undertake activities such as developing human and physical capacity in the sector, equipping mining institutions, and providing infrastructure in mining areas. Represented by Head of Human Resources Daniel Lua, the Executive Secretary explained that the program aims to empower miners with essential knowledge of safer mining practices, in addition to providing them with the necessary tools for efficient and secure operations. And that's it on Track and the Way.